National Assembly proposes 35 billion naira capital base for the insurance firms, 12-month jail term for the third-party insurance. Lula invites Tinubu to Brazil. Gains of president's economic policies by Shetima. UNTSA to arraign arrested IED manufacturers, U.S. Center for Nigeria. Tinubu's reforms attracted $17 billion dollars investment in 2024. Okay, that's good.
And on the front, the picture there.
Yeah, so that's the picture of the unfortunate incident at Otedola Bridge where we saw cars burnt, the explosion, the gas explosion, and lives and properties destroyed. Senate, Natasha suspended for breaking rules, misconduct, shops, goods worth billions gone in Ibadan market fire. So whilst we're talking about the Otedola Bridge, there's also the Ibadan market fire. But let's begin the big story this morning, Uade, with Rivers. It's not possible for us to start today's newspaper front page without talking about Rivers State. And just to mention to our audience, if you'd like to share your thoughts on any of the stories that we're looking at and we're analyzing, the numbers to call are on your TV screen. Please call and be a part of the show. Uade, what is happening in Rivers State? Nyesom Wike, Simna Lai Fubara, Ego at play. This one said, I sent in letter to say I'm coming. I sent in, oh, you did not sign it yourself. It's Secretary to State Government that signed it. Oh, I sent in another one I signed personally. It's exhausting. When will the people of Rivers State be prioritized and all this drama put aside?
Maybe like I said, when the State Assembly decides to impeach Fubara and decide that they will have a governor who dances the tune of the piper. And for me, that is scary. Scary in the sense that Nyesom Wike was just left as a governor. There were two governors of Rivers State before him under this democratic dispensation. And I don't think we heard their voices this much about issues related to Rivers. Do you understand? Under his, what's called, we tell you that it was because he was such a powerful and strong politician, that's why. No. It's because also they wanted you to go do your job. And the one that really beat me yesterday, and I was really taken aback when I saw it, and I was almost in shock, was the fact that he called a press conference, and the headline was, the Minister of the FCT was addressing national issues. And half of those national issues related to Rivers State. So I'm wondering, was it the Minister of Defense that was talking about national issues relating to security, or the Minister of Interiors and Internal Affairs to talk generally about national issues, or it was the President or the Vice President or even the Senate President to talk about the national issue? He's the Minister of the Federal Capital.
But in fairness to him, don't you think it's the journalists at that parley that were throwing questions related to Rivers State?
In the first instance, the caption addressing national issues is wrong. And I blame us. And when I say us, I mean everybody
within
the media space. When you have those kind of parleys, it's not, why would the minister be addressing national issues? The minister should be addressing issues related to the FCT, and the president will address national issues, or even the Minister for Interior, where he would speak on behalf of the president to address national issues, or the Minister of Defense to talk about security as it evolves around national issues. And this idea that Wike is continually popping up in the Rivers State, what's it called? It just beats me. I was listening to the interview with the Honorable, and he was more like, and I heard the statement where he says, former Governor Wike says Fubara knows what to do. What exactly is he supposed to do?
We're going to even ask Honorable Collins. I think you wanted to ask him.
He knows the people he needs to talk to.
Who are these people? The governor of the state.
Maybe they have a governor advisory council.
Okay, let's look at the similarity between Lagos and Rivers State. Lagos had this protracted crisis for a bit, back and forth, DSS invading. We saw the return of Abasa, part 1, 2, and 3. Before, the president just called in from Abuja, and then everything ended. Look, this is how you deal with it. Pandef met the president president yesterday, a group of stakeholders. But let's take this call. Nonso from
Port Harcourt. Nonso, good morning. Thanks for calling. Please, what's happening in your state?
Good.
Nonso, yes, please go ahead.
Yes, good morning. My name is, like I say, is Nonso from Port Harcourt. Please, I am calling to contribute based on the River State issue. Like you people have stated it earlier on, I think Governor Wike have served for 8 years. He was the one that imposed a SIM on the people of River State. And initially, everybody did not buy the idea of Wike imposing SIM on River State. But finally, SIM started governing the state. And right now, everybody is enjoying SIM government. Because like my wife is working at the Lagos bus stop. For the 8 years Wike have been governor, nobody have entered the bus and said this is River State bus from Wike. Bus is all over River State. And now this man is doing well. Why don't you allow this man to govern the state? And you are forcing him to resign or be impeached. Even Tonio.
We are struggling with your audio. We hope that you can call back and we can hear you. Okay. But thank you so much. But I think the general sense of what he's trying to say is Nyesom Wike has had his time. Why not allow Sim Fubara, especially because you forced, according to him, you forced Sim Fubara on River State people.
Yeah. So we have a Mexican standoff here. Both parties are adamant nobody is going to move ground.
Yeah.
He's obeying the Supreme Court law, but the other party remembers his past sins and it's payback time for them. They don't even want him to do what the Supreme Court has asked him to do. So how do we move on from here? And Mr. President is saying, go and obey the Supreme Court judgment. And he's trying to obey, and he said it to the world. So how do we move on from a party that is adamant?
If you feel that he has done wrong, are you with me? Call up his sins and debate it and decide whether you want to impeach him. And if you want to impeach him, I guess you will have the numbers that you require, which is 2/3 of the State Assembly. Then go ahead and do that. And stop brandishing all forms of, throwing things away.
The letter
came, it was signed by this, he didn't give them 72 hours, and so on and so forth. Well, 72 hours of what? When did the letter go there? Was it on a Thursday and then Friday? He came in on when? On Tuesday.
All right, let's still head back to, South. We have Thank God calling from Delta State. Good morning, Thank God. Thanks for calling. Thank God for your calling.
Yeah, good morning, madam. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please go ahead with your comment.
I want to contribute on the issue of River State. Yes, actually, this is Nigeria, and River State is part of Nigeria. I somehow believe that we have rules of law in this country. The judgment of the Supreme Court to present the budget to the normal assembly. Martins Amaule is the rightful owner of that assembly. It should not be about Wike. They should stop calling Wike because River State belongs to this country. The Fubara himself, the governor of River State, he knows the law. Let him go and attend to what the Supreme Court judgment said. He should present the budget and all those commissioners he has appointed on behalf of the House of Assembly. He should go back and take all of them back to the House of Assembly to confirm them. Who confirmed them before he start running the government? And Fubara himself knows that. How can you use 3 people or 4 people to run the Assembly of River State? That was where the man that was where he lost everything. In this country, a lot of people doesn't obey law. You see a lot of people, because when PDP were in power, they had how many years to rule? They frustrated a lot of people in this country. But now it has come to APC. And we have a law. This is the same law that the same PDP used in this country. So let him obey the law. If he doesn't obey the law,
he's trying to obey it seems. All right, but thank God. Thank you for calling and sharing your thoughts. I think the question now is, he has said from the jump that he was willing to obey and he has started to make the efforts to obey, but again, politics will politic. I don't want us to sleep on Rivers State, but if you have any final thoughts on this so that we can move on.
I really do want to speak about it, but you said I should.
Yes, so we must speak about it.
Spoken about it. The man says he wants to obey the Supreme Court order. Then let him do what he needs to do. And if you think that when he's done with that, and if you think that his sins are not forgiven, then go ahead and do the next thing.
All right. Let's go to another story. The front page of The Guardian. On the front page, we can see a number of the stories which Benga took earlier. But I want us to take the one on Senator Natasha. Yes. Senate cites gross misconduct for Akpoti Uduaghan's suspension and denies sexual harassment link. You've been following up with the story. You've seen the most recent update. She's gone to
Inter-Parliamentary Union.
Yes, the Parliamentary Union to ask for help. But before we get into the details of Senator Natasha, we have Idris calling from Edo State. Good morning, Idris.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for calling. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I want to contribute this the River State crisis. It's an ongoing issue. I think the governor have done the right thing. And the governor is doing the right thing. And I believe that Wike should allow him. Wike had his 8 years undisturbed. There are other governors who were there before him. All of them have been very calm, allowing the states to go on. So the development that is in River State is of a great concern, not individual people looking for relevance. God has blessed him. He's in Abuja as an SC minister. As such, he should allow Fubara to rule the state and to the House of Assembly. Whatever that has happened, they should allow things to, they should seek for reconciliation for the well-being of the general citizen of River State. That's my humble contribution.
Idris, thank you very much for calling and sharing your thoughts on that. I'm very certain that a number of the people who will call today will be calling because of Rivers drama, because it seems it's the hottest story. But I want us to quickly touch on Senator Natasha Akpoti Uduaghan's case against the Senate and her latest updates with regards, taking this to the IPU. Do you think that makes any influence? And what picture do you think this paints about the Senate, about the Red Chamber to the international community?
So let's first get something right. There are two aspects to this issue. One is the sexual harassment issue, which is different from the misconduct. Did she commit a misconduct in the National Assembly? In my opinion, yes, she did.
Was the suspension
So does the misconduct in terms of the rules of the National Assembly, were the rules followed in terms of the suspension? In my opinion, I think yes. Let's take, don't get me wrong, because as a father and I have two daughters, I would not love anybody to molest, not even my partner or my sisters. Is wrong. Harassment is wrong. But there are two separate issues. So let's deal with the issue of misconduct. Was there a misconduct? Yes. Did the Senate follow the rules in terms of declaring that there was a misconduct? In my opinion, I think they did. Is the suspension right? In my opinion, I think it is. Dealing with the sexual harassment issue is a different thing entirely, which I think also, in my own opinion, the Senate should look at. Independent, the Senate Ethics Committee, they said, initially she didn't submit it correctly, and she has gone back and done that. So go look at that. But in terms of the misconduct, yes, because it was on live TV.
Yeah, but you've had senators do worse in the past. A shouting battle, almost getting to fisticuffs. Whether you think
that there is a conspiracy is a different thing entirely. But the facts remain. There was a misconduct against the rules of the House, of the Senate. And did they look at that misconduct along the lines of those rules? Yes, they did.
Now, the punishment, is it commensurate to the offense?
That's a different thing.
No.
I cannot tell you what commensurate punishment will be. The Senate Ethics Committee is the one who provides that. And I'm sure if you look at the rules, they add suspension times for misconduct.
Okay, we'll come back to talk about the manner in which they have handled it, especially with regards to conversations about fair hearing. But we have Mustafa calling from Lagos. Good morning, Mustafa. Thanks for calling. Please go ahead with your comment.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please go ahead.
My name is Mustafa from Lagos. My take on research issue. Yoruba said we cannot come back from court, and we agree. They call this man to settle from beginning. He refused. Now, if he's the one that wins from Supreme Court, it will have a power over 27 lawmakers. But now you are losing. You lose from Supreme Court. You are now saying you told you, I think because you take us already. You can never let them go to court. If you think you win, I later win you. I will not even surrender for you again. I will torment you to know that if you win, that you want to do the same thing to me. That's my take on it.
Okay, so now it's a battle of ego. I think we can all agree from this statement as well.
Time.
It's payback time. Do me, I do you, God no go vex.
While the people suffer.
While people suffer.
And I think, like I said earlier, deal with the issues. Are you with me? The issue is present the budget, present the commissioners, let's ratify them. Are you with me? Has Fubara agreed to do that? Yes. Has he put steps in place to be able to do that? Yes. Now, let him do that.
But the other party is...
Then the other party, when you are done with that, if you want to come back to his sins and say you want to put him under the guillotine, go ahead.
Okay, let's go back to Natasha.
Yeah.
The case of the sexual harassment case.
Yeah.
This is not to talk about the procedural issues in the house regarding, her sitting arrangement or the likes. Sexual harassment is a grave issue. This is International Women's Month. Senator Godswill Akpabio has been seen to be a judge in his own cause, which is against the principle of natural justice, because he's sitting, receiving the report and sitting as a senator, whereas there were allegations against him. So, what picture do you think this paints? Do you think that we're taking sexual harassment issues wrong? And this is not, this is not to say she was right or he was wrong. At least let there be an opportunity for this to be heard fairly. And
I totally agree. And that's what I said now. Are you with me? Sexual harassment is not a joke. Anywhere, whether it's in National Assembly or is even in someone's home, is gross misconduct also. Now, if the allegations are against Senate President Akpabio, what I think he should do is step aside. Are you with me?
Pending
and let the Senate or the Deputy Senate President be the one to manage this process. And then everybody would see or would believe that it is being seen to be fair and transparent. Because you can't bring an allegation against me and then I'm the judge. And that's where and I think at the end of this, what the National Assembly should do, and generally in a number of workplaces have been doing that, is to start to put down a proper policy and rules documented against sexual harassment, or what is termed sexual harassment, so that also, let's remember, the person being accused could be innocent, and we know the kind of reputational damage that can come from that. So let's always be very careful and play the balance.
All right. Let's talk about another interesting story, still on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Isalaiko descendants secure ruling against public viewing of gangs of Lagos. Now, just to refresh your memory, the film was released on Amazon Prime Video, and members of the Isalaiko community expressed outrage. They argued that the movie distorted their cultural heritage and portrayed their people in negative light. Now, what has the Lagos State High Court done? It yesterday ruled in favor of the Isalaiko Descendants Union in its case against Amazon Web Services and the creators of the Gangs of Lagos, mandating a public apology for misrepresenting the Eyo Festival and Isaleiko community. I don't know if you ever saw Gangs of Lagos.
I did.
Okay. Did you have, first of all, you portray yourself as a Lagosian. You are, right? Did you have any problem with how the culture was presented in that film? Especially for those who never saw the film Gangs of Lagos, the Eyo masquerade came out, and that was the Eyo masquerade where they were sort of people dressed as the Eyo masquerade in a bid to take out their opponents. So it's like, oh, Eyo masquerade doesn't kill. Why would you portray us in that light? Did you did you have a problem with it, or do you think it was poetic license for them to do that?
Well, so two things. Culturally, they are right. Oh, when you say, oh, this is what the culture says, are you with me? But when you depict it in a movie and in a setting where you are, what's it called? And like, if you read, and I'm sure I read the captions before that, everything about this is artistic.
Make believe. Yes.
Exactly. It's fictional.
And the
It
people
doesn't
watching
represent,
it know it's fictional.
and it was clearly stated, it doesn't represent any factual or real life incident. Now, so an artist looks at the culture of where they are and decide, okay, from an artistic perspective, I would do this. Whether it's right or wrong, it's a different thing. Now they've won the judgment. Public viewing, yeah, Amazon will probably send an apology. Are you with me? Public apology. So what is public apology? Public apology is you put it in the newspapers and then you place it on your screen on that film or whatever. However, at the end of the day, when you say public viewing, I don't think that movie really, are you with me, was public viewing. Public viewing, in my own opinion, is you beamed it on the cinemas and people went there to go and look at it. I watch it in my home. And there's so many movies like that where you sometimes have to pay for to watch it.
That means all of us who watch like there's certain movies that...
I mean, all the Italians will be mafia, all the Mexicans will be drug dealers, all the Irish will be gangsters. Yeah, so what happens to poetic license? I think this is taking it too far.
And the concern is about how this might stifle creativity and the ability for storytellers to tell certain stories. I don't think anybody outrightly thinks that your masquerade...
Or Nigerians are aliens. And 2009 movie, District 9, if you remember. Yes. The South Africans made that movie and said, you know, we're aliens. There was even an alien named Obasanjo and all of that. Exactly. Nobody made a fuss.
So sometimes we take things to the extreme, all because we, in quote, want to preserve or protect culture. The only thing that is static in life is change. And culture that doesn't evolve is dead, in my opinion.
Okay.
Well, anyway, it'll be interesting to find out what filmmakers think about this. If you're a Nollywood filmmaker or you're very particular about telling stories, or you just even enjoy this story is being told, let us know what your thoughts are. Did they take it a little too far by going to court?
There's another story I want us to take from the front page of the Punch newspapers. This is Obasanjo, and I'm wondering why this is coming now. He says, a Lagos-Calabar highway project wasteful and corrupt, says Tinubu ignored protests against a 15 trillion Naira coastal highway project falls to 21 billion Naira also spent on the vice president's residence. Is one of the most vocal ex-heads of state in Nigeria, never afraid to share his opinions about governance in public. What do you make of this?
Well, to a certain extent, I do believe it's wasteful. Are you with me? Why? Because, in my opinion, there are more. This is my opinion. I'm not in government, and government has a way of looking at things differently. I think there are more critical things that could have been done with that 15.6.
I mean, even talking about roads, there are existing roads there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So existing infrastructure that could be worked upon, which some of them have been currently worked upon, and so that we could even first and foremost improve the logistics systems, the road networking and the road logistics systems in Nigeria. Like I was somewhere and someone said, but even the Obasanjo gave out the Lagos-Ibadan expressway, and we're still on it.
No, we've completed it.
Really? Okay. But also, let's even look at the Lekki-Ekpe corridor. We're still on it. So, and growing up in Lagos and growing up in Nigeria, not just Lagos, growing up in Nigeria where I knew that project execution, if you still told me it was 2 years, it was 2 years because the Lekki-Epe corridor, dual carriageway, was done in 24 months. So it's not rocket science, really.
Yeah.
But my point is, and then the other thing why I would say is wasteful. We said, oh, they've reduced the, what's it called? They moved it from 10 lanes to 6 lanes, but the contract value hasn't dropped. Really. But they tell you it's exchange. When they first did it, was 900 naira to $1, now it's 1,500 to $1.
They have to factor all those things. But I mean, work is happening. Let's hope.
One is giving employment, work is going on, and they say they will complete it in 8 years. It started in 2024, so 8 years, about 2032.
Wait and see.
Maybe we'll have a new president then who would commission it once it's completed.
Okay.
2032.
Okay. All right. There's so many other stories. I'm trying to see if there's any which one we should take finally before we. Okay. I don't know if to go into this story. FCT sex workers lose fundamental rights to federal government.
Well, the constitution says that commercial sex workers is not a profession in Nigeria. Until that is changed. Well, I remember that they're thinking about bringing them in as part of the rebased GDP.
Rebased economy.
Yeah, and it does make sense. You can tax them. Yeah,
they're contributing to the.
They
economy.
are contributing to the economy.
Not in any small way.
I don't know how much they are contributing, but they are contributing. Their countries where
and they're Nigerian citizens. They have fundamental rights too.
And I agree with that. But the fundamental rights also stops at the point at which the Constitution tells you this is not allowed. So if they make those changes,
there's no way that we can wrap up newspaper review without talking about El-Rufai finally porting. There's the season of porting from party to party. El-Rufai has moved to SDP. There's been jubilation in some camps. We've seen a number of the Iowa boys excited about it. In fact, someone tweeted and said, oh, I'm so proud. All my contacts have SDP logo as their DP. Maurice Moyer retweeted and said, I'm proud of my own contacts because there's nothing like that. But let's get your thoughts. The Guardian says El-Rufai's hasty move roils SDP as loyalists seek rejig of MWC. El-Rufai criticized the APC leadership and has now moved to the SDP. Some people think that he's been planted in the SDP to divide the votes of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and is working hand in hand with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. But let's get your thoughts.
Congratulations to El-Rufai that he has joined another party again. All the while he's been in politics from PDP to APC, now to SDP, and he will tell you he's been instrumental in president's winning elections. So let's see what happens in 2027. This strategic move, where does he get in?
And there also talks of him bringing other heavyweights and governors. Do you
so let's him bring them now. When we start to see the potting, that popular guy potted from one network to the other. And it's all about your ambitions and where you want to be.
So isn't it too early to make all those moves? I believe chess players keep or poker players keep their cards close to them. 2027 is 2.5 years away. Why all these talks and moves about 2027?
That's what you think. The electioneering has started since the last election ended for those who play the politics. And that you've been seeing it on the pages of the newspaper, you've been seeing it in some of the activities and actions of people. So he started his electioneering.
It seems we're more passionate about the electioneering and the politics than the governance itself. And those issues that matter.
And I agree with you. Why? Because, but we are not really passionate about the electioneering.
No, the politicians are passionate about it.
Yeah, that's because that's where...
Their bread and butter.
Yeah. And we as Nigerians are not passionate about the electioneering, which is what we should be, and know what is happening, and know when you should go.
Well, we like the gist of their fights.
And that's
for entertainment value.
And so since we like the entertainment, then we'll get entertained every 4 years.
Deal with the consequences.
Exactly. Now that's why we'll get entertained every 4 years.
I wish we could take the Punch newspaper because there's some headlines I'm seeing here, but unfortunately we don't have time. But let me just run through them. PDP crisis, Wike camps kick as the Kimi panel recommends Ayaun's expulsion. Ondo killing survivors recount ordeals. This Ondo thing is very scary. Ayedatiwa pledges tight security. IPU can someone Akpabio says spokesman. This is, of course, in the Natasha case. Lagos Calabar Highway project, wasteful, corrupt, Obasanjo says Tinubu ignored protest against 15 trillion naira coastal highway project and false 21 billion naira spent on vice president's residence. And then we have Tinubu overrules Akonde panel, backs Obasa to remain speaker. I wish we'd thought.
And I don't, you know, but that's what the Akonde panel said, that he should come back as speaker.
No. So the plan was, according to the report, he was temporary. So,
did you see this report?
Well, you saw the reports.
No, I did not.
I didn't see the report.
But the only thing that is constant in that report, and which the president has said now, is that Obasa should return.
Well, part of what we're hearing. Well,
the rumors. And the rumors have been completely done now.
Even the newspapers report that, you know, the report from the panel was that it was supposed to be temporary, that he's supposed to have stepped down so that someone from Lagos West will be elected into
our source.
Okay.
And
journalist never reveals that.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And the leader of the party has taken a position. Right. And his position is clear. Obasa returns, supporting.
We have to go now. We're running out of time.
You also take that position for River State and just let everybody shit their swords.
Since we have nothing called separation of powers, executive will determine what's happening in legislature and vice versa.
Well,
Nigerian
politics. I'm not sure about that.
If you say you understand Nigerian politics, it is well. Thank you so much for joining us, Uade Ahimie.
Thank you for having me as usual.